Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Southern Wealth. I hope you're having a very good weekend. As I mentioned, I wouldn't post on Thursday and Friday, but I would do it today. It's been a couple of very hectic, very happy days, but I was basically taking a bit of a break, also spending some time with the family, some big developments inside the house. So maybe in a couple of extra videos, I will talk a little bit more about it. Don't forget, guys, if you do enjoy the content, please consider dropping that like and subscribe. That greatly helps the channel. I think my next week and the week after will still be a bit difficult, but then hopefully by around 7-10 of December, things should start to normalize a little bit. What I wanted to say, this week was a shorter week. It's the Thanksgiving time period. Volume is very thin. Not many things happen. I think it's good. We are above the 37,000 on Bitcoin. Ethereum is well above 2,000 once again. And for quarter four, so for the remaining of November and December, I do expect us to move a bit higher. I think we'll probably go above the 42,000 handle on Bitcoin. I think that will spell out that we are in the bull cycle, or we started the bull cycle. And I do think there's going to be some developments coming out. I do think the major thing this week, which in my opinion was very positive, is actually the settlement or the fine that Binance got and the stepping down of CZ. So that's a big, fear that has now left the market. Because unless I'm very mistaken, it's a possibility, by the way, I do think that we just confirmed that Binance will not go bankrupt, and that would be a major issue. Why? Because usually when these fines are given, they are given with some proportionality towards the results of a company. What I mean by that is, for example, when a company does something they shouldn't, and they say they're doing 100 million revenue, you're not going to see a 10 billion fine, because basically you're giving that company zero chance of improving anything. Now, forget about crypto, forget about Binance, just think about a company, doesn't matter which one it is. You'll see that the fines are, to incentivize companies to correct something wrong they were doing without really jeopardizing the survival of the company. Because then you provoke, you lead to thousands of people going on unemployment, you destroy a lot of people's wealth, finding basically a few individuals. So there's a reason why that when you see those collapses, like FTX, for example, the accusations come afterwards, not before. When the accusations come before, and basically what I think happened is the DOJ looked into the accounts of Binance, said, yeah, you can easily afford 4.3 billion, so that's what you're gonna afford. I mean, even CZ is gonna pay 50 million, but I think his net worth is close to 20 billion. So 50 million in 20 billion is not such a big deal, right? And many cases, these settlements, it's a bit like, okay, you settle, you pay, it's finished. It's not like, oh, in 3 years' time, they will reopen the same case to demand more money. No. Usually, these come with legal statements in which, okay, you pay for the fine, you pay for this, and we drop these charges to you. That's it. Of course, if they keep on doing the same things, they will get fined more often. But what I'm saying is, you cannot issue a fine for them to pay, and then in 3 years' time, oh yeah, maybe we should go again after them about the same thing, about an old process. That's not possible. Okay. Now, going into the overall market, S&P is well above 4,500. Nasdaq 100 is slightly below 16,000. But very strong as well. I do think what to expect for the remaining of the year. I do expect it to keep going a bit higher, but I do expect crypto to have more upward movement and faster movement than stocks. In many cases, sometimes during this period of the cycle, crypto actually front runs many of the movements on the stock market, which is quite funny. Sometimes it's not connected at all. Sometimes it's the opposite, so it's inversely correlated. Something happens to stocks, the opposite happens to crypto. Then sometimes crypto follow stocks, but typically during this stage of the cycle, which is Q4 before the halving, crypto tends to lead the cycle. I do think January and February, Ethereum will outperform. I do think the Nasdaq, sorry, the Nasdaq will now, I think, over the next few months, move a bit slower. I do see the potential for the Russell to outperform. Why? Because yes, tech stocks do benefit from low interest rates, but the sectors that benefit the most is actually small businesses, including the regional banks, because those are the most exposed to interest rate environments. Russell 2000 includes a lot of, zombie companies and regional banks, which are heavily exposed to all these treasuries that they've accumulated over the years at extremely low yields that now have collapsed in value. So of course, if the pricing of cutting interest rates approaches, the Russell is the index that even outperforms, particularly because it has underperformed all the others. So the higher we go on the Nasdaq 100, the less likely it is that it will keep on outperforming. Now, people say, oh yeah, but the market is moving because 5 or 6 stocks are moving a lot. That translates into the market just moved 20% and I missed it. That's it. That's all it means. And usually you had so many big rallies in the past, which start off with 6 or 7 companies that then eventually creep up to the rest of the market. This happens almost all the time. People say that in order to try to say, look, these are typically people that are predicting crashes and collapses and the end of the world. So what they're trying to tell you is, you see, the 493 companies in the S&P are not performing well. It's only these 7 that are outperforming. And they're trying to give you excuses of why their predictions are completely off mark. And they completely ignore that almost all the big rallies start with very concentrated in a few companies, and then it eventually expands to the broader market. So it's like this. So if we then expand to the broader market, there's no big surprise. There's no big, oh my God, who could have? No, it's actually quite normal. But they cannot tell you that because they're predicting, they're selling you Armageddon, the end of the world, Mad Max in 2 days. So they need to play the part, and when things move against them, they need to blame someone because they cannot blame themselves. So they blame the 5 or 6 companies that are pulling the market. And they will hide from you that is actually quite common to happen. So thank you very much, guys. Once again, I'll post a video tomorrow as well. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you in the next one.